What's up, everybody? My name is Nicky, and welcome on back to a brand new video. And today we're going to be looking at the top best Pokemon that you can use on your teams for Regulation H. Now, this is obviously my personal opinion, of course, and you can run any Pokemon that you desire, but I'm just listing what I personally think are going to be the top dogs of Regulation H. So like and subscribe if you want to see some Regulation H content. I'll be doing some team building videos, which are going to be coming out very shortly, probably right after I'm done recording this video, because we have a lot of things I want to jump into with Regulation H. So subscribe for more competitive Pokemon content, and with that being said, let's dive right into it. Starting off with, and by the way, actually before, I'm going with the list here. This list of the first ever tournament of Regulation H, the online tournament. And I'm going, I looked at, what are, the most popular, Pokemon that you can potentially see, in Regulation H. There's a lot of easy Pokemon we can spot out here. Let's talk about some obvious ones here. Incineroar. Now, Incineroar, is usually, typically extremely good. I don't need to specify how good this Pokemon is. In general, you run this in with Safety Goggles. It has fucking Intimidate. It has access to Parting Shot, one of the best moves in the game. Lowering the attack set and the special attack set of the opponent, which is really good, and then it makes you switch out. Very good. Has access to support moves like Knock Off and Fake Out. You can deal some more damage with Flare Blitz if you want to. You could fucking, give this thing Will-O-Wisp if you wanted to. Incineroar is really strong in general. It is and it also has access to Taunt. I totally forgot. Has access to Taunt. Overall, Incineroar is really strong, really good. Stat-wise as well. Amazing type offensively and defensively. There's nothing really much to say other than you're gonna see a lot of fucking Incineroar. You're gonna be seeing a lot of Incineroars, as you can see right now with this tournament. We are seeing a shit ton of Incineroar. So there's no surprises here that Incineroar is gonna be still perfect, but I will say, Incineroar is not going to be as popular as another Pokemon, but also, Incineroar is not with the big dogs. It's not with, big legendary Pokemon. So, its impact will be felt maybe just a tad bit more. But even then, Incineroar, with or without legendary Pokemon, is insanely overpowered, insanely broken. Very good Pokemon. Just a very good Pokemon. And since we're talking about Incineroar, we need to talk about his best buddy, Rillaboom. Rillaboom, which you could clearly see there's a load of Rillabooms in the top. But Rillaboom is interesting because Rillaboom is actually a pretty solid counter to a lot of rain teams and a lot of water type Pokemon that we're going to be seeing throughout the entirety of Regulation H. Pokemon like Palafin are around now because, well, they haven't been around since Urshifu's appearance. If it wasn't for that damn bear, a lot of these Pokemon would probably, still be around, like Paldea and Tauros, Dondozo, Tatsugiri combinations, you can still see them in Regulation G, but they're not as common. If not, they're basically unplayable. But now we're seeing a lot more Palafins and, a lot of really good water type Pokemon, Politoads. So, one way to counter this is Grassy Surge Rillaboom with fucking Assault Vest. Or if you're feeling pretty cheeky, you're gonna go for a, maybe, I don't know, a Miracle Sea variant. Or whatever, right? But let's just say you want to run the most defensive set possible with this thing. You're gonna give this thing the Assault Vest, plus fucking whatever support you want to run this thing. You want to run this thing with Knockoff, you can run it with Knockoff. You want to give this thing Fake Out, you give this thing Fake Out. But obviously Grassy Glide is probably one of its more important moves here, alongside Wood Hammer. Now I know that Grassy Glide did get nerfed, but even then, it's such an important move for Rillaboom that you kind of need it. And Wood Hammer is also an important move for it because Stab is crazy. High horsepower to deal with a lot of Steel-type Pokemon. They're going to be roaming around the meta. We got Goldango. We got King Gambit, which are going to be way better than ever and feel a lot more comfortable in their place. We're going to have Arcaludon, which we'll talk about Arcaludon in a bit. we have Incineroar, obviously, that's roaming around. Like, a lot of really strong Fire-type Pokemon, Isu and Arcanine. So, you need to hit these Pokemon with super effective damage somehow. So, Rillaboom kind of does that with high horsepower, which is really good. Now, high horsepower does not have the most insane accuracy in the world, but hey, it's a gander you're willing to take. And finally, again, like I said, you give this thing whatever support you want to give it, Fake Out or Knockoff, either or. That doesn't really matter. It depends on how you want to run this thing. You can run this thing with Fake Out instead of Grassy Glide, whatever, right? Really good stats overall. You could just build this thing really, really bulky, make this thing live a lot of hits, and all that stuff, and just kind of like, you know, make it like, just make it live, make it live hits, and you're chilling. You're basically chilling. And Rillaboom can be very, very defensive with its Terra type as well. You give this thing Terra Fire, give this thing Terra Water, Terra Poison. Really good Terra types that could just like counter a lot of the other Pokemon around. So that's really, really good. I personally think that allows it to be one of the most flexible Pokemon in the meta currently. And honestly, I think we will see way more Rillaboom and maybe even potentially see Rillaboom play and win a lot more tournaments than probably when it was in Regulation G. Next up, the next Pokemon I want to talk about is a Pokemon that we haven't had a lot of chance to, you know, see shine in Regulation G. And that is Archaludon. Ladies and gentlemen, Archaludon, Pelipper are going to be the best combination ever because Pelipper summons the rain. Archaludon, now you're probably thinking to yourself, Archaludon doesn't have an ability that, you know, that makes it good in the rain or whatever. Well, why would you run this thing in the rain? Well, it's because not only that Dragon Steel is a really good typing, it's a really strong typing. It resists the Fire, Water, Grass core extremely well, but it has a signature move called Electro Shot. Electro Shot boosts its special attack stat, but it usually takes 2 turns to fully charge and activate. However, in this case, with Pelipper, if it's in the rain, this move is basically like Solar Beam. It's going to automatically get in and do the attack. So you pair this thing next to Pelipper, and guess what? You got yourself a overpowered building ready to absolutely wreck teams. And as you can see, has reached like very high rankings across the board because it counters a lot of Water-type Pokemon. Now, here's a fun fact. There's not a lot of good Electric-type Pokemon in the base game. The only ones that are really good, as you can probably see, are like Pawmod and like Pokemon like maybe Electivire. You might see some Raichus here and there, but that's about it. And Kilowattrel. Sorry, my bad. But there's not a whole lot of really good, strong Electric-type Pokemon that threaten the meta as much as a Archaludon with Electro Shot. The fact that Archaludon is in the game is impressive, to say the least. So this allows Archaludon to be very flexible. Plus, this thing has access to, let's give it Electro Shot here, it has access to Body Press, and with its amazing defensive stat, it becomes so much better than most other like Body Press users in the game, aside from Zamazenta. Like, legitimately, aside from Zamazenta, it is the best Body Press user in the game. Maybe. Without counting legendaries. I would like to point that one out there. And then you just give it like Flash Cannon and Draco for coverage. And usually this Pokemon is run with Assault Vest, just to give it like a little more bulk. But you can maybe run it with Leftovers if you want to, just to like, you know, heal it or whatever. Or you could run it right next to like, you know, a Sinister or what have you, right? Like, again, this Pokemon has a lot of defense and a lot of bulk going towards it. Like, look at these stats. Look at these stats. Like, it is extremely insane. Like, again, that's why you're running Assault Vest, because of that little puny little special defense. So you're just gonna go whoop, a little more special defense, and then like you boost the rest of the stats accordingly. Honestly, Archaludon's really good. I think Archaludon is going to be a top threat throughout the entirety of Regulation H. There's not a lot of Pokemon that can counter it, at least by what I've seen. Some ground-type Pokemon, for sure, and if you're a special attacker, you're definitely going to be able to handle it. But Terrestrialization makes Archaludon so good. Like, you can change its Terra type to Terra Grass, Terra Fire, Terra whatever Terra type, and it's going to be just fucking broken. Archaludon for me, Archaludon slash Pelipper is gonna be an amazing combination. It's not even gonna be a debate, right? Worth noting that Amoonguss is gonna be a lot more better now because it's, you know, power creep is not really a thing for it now, but also it's gonna be doing a lot more supportive jobs as it used to. So, you know, basic set Pollen Puff, Rage Powder, fucking Protect, and I had like a blank for a second, and Spore, plus Leftovers. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be very strong. Really good support Pokemon. Nothing more to add here. Very interesting to say, but there's not a lot of Tailwind users in the game. Currently, the only ones with Tailwind that are really, really good and that can, like, utilize Tailwind, like, immediately are the following. Okay? Murkrow, because of Prankster. Whimsicott, because of Prankster. And Talonflame, because of Gale Wings, giving priority to flying type attacks. Which means these are the best Tailwind users in the game, and the rest of the Tailwind users are like Pelipper and fucking Kilowattrel. That is it. These are your Tailwind users. We are not going to see a lot of Tailwind users in this. We're going to be seeing maybe a lot more Trick Room users, but we're not going to be seeing, like, Tailwind, like, being set up all the time. Unless your name is Whimsicott and you're, like, in the top best Pokemon, which I'll probably use Whimsicott eventually down the line, maybe bring into a tournament, who knows. I'm not going to say anything about any tournament teams, okay? I like to keep my tournament teams in a little wrap, in a little bow tie for now, okay? I'll just put it like that, okay? So that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun to deal with. So we're gonna be seeing a lot more Trick Room teams. So, you know, NDD's gonna be here. NDD Armarouge. You know, y'all know that combination, right? NDD Armarouge. Expanding Force. Nothing new, right? Like, nothing new. I miss the good old days where fucking Indeedee had Expanding Force. Just naturally, but hey. If it has to be split into 2 Pokemon, that's fine. Also, other Pokemon with Expanding Force are going to be a lot more used. Like fucking Farigiraf. Which we'll probably see a little more, but not a whole lot of. Because it's not having to deal with, you know, Calyrex Rider or whatever. So, and all the other Pokemon are just a little bit better than Farigiraf, but I digress. We have Goldango. Goldango is fucking Goldango. I don't need to say anything, honestly. Make It Rain choice specs really good. You can run this in with Leftovers, Terra Steel for pure offense if you want to. Or you can give this thing Terra Normal, or even like a way better Terra type like Terra Water or something, just to resist a few hits here and there, and just like nasty plots, start KOing things with Make It Rain, Shadow Ball. It's good. Goldango is just really good. Like, there's a reason why it's here. You know, there's a reason why I mentioned literally the top team Pokemon here, because it's just really that good. We have Annihilate that's back, ladies and gentlemen. Hold up. Annihilate is back. Defiant Annihilate is back. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. We got a crazy Pokemon here. So Annihilate was like really, really dominant back in Regulation A, and like ever since it got decreasingly worse. But now we're in the meta where we need him. We need him because we have Pokemon like Blood Moon roaming around. We have a lot of Steel type Pokemon and a lot of Ghost types. So, you know, fucking this thing's gonna be good. It's gonna be pretty decent. It's not gonna be the best, but like, hey, it's gonna be pretty solid. We're gonna be definitely seeing a lot of Dragapults. Speaking of Ghost types, we're gonna be seeing a lot of Dragapults roaming around. Dragon Ball being one of the best restricted Pokemon, one of the best pseudo-legendary Pokemon in the game, alongside Archaludon. I think there's literally no debate. On this, very strong glass cannon Pokemon, very fast. It's probably one of the fastest Pokemon in the meta currently. Do not even at me. I think that's very true. The only downside is that it does not have a good physical ghost type move, aside from Phantom Force, but that can be arranged. You have Terra Blast. You can go Terra Blast, Terra Ghost if you wanted to. It's not the most optimal, but you can still do it anyways. It has fucking Dragon Darts, which is really, really good. It has access to Sucker Punch, very good. And fucking U-turn to switch out. Like, Dragon Ball is like built for success, for the most part. It's a really good Pokemon, and even then, it's almost a mixed attacker. So you can basically run like a more special-oriented Dragon Ball if you wanted to, but I don't consider it. But if you feel like it, go ahead. You know, it's not discouraged, I would say. I don't think there's any other ghost types we need to talk about, or any like other like main like thing for that. We could talk about like a small little gimmick here. Alolan Ninetales with fucking Baxcalibur. That's gonna be really strong. Because Baxcalibur has a really good ability being Thermal Exchange. This Pokemon's attack gets raised by 1 if it gets hit by a fire type move. So if you get this thing like Terra Water, right? Or like even then, like keep it as is. Next to Ninetales, which fucking brings out the snow, which is really good, giving Baxcalibur a little bit of a boost. And like Baxcalibur alone, Ninetales for the win sometimes, man. Like Jesus Christ, you give this thing loaded dice. Loaded dice with fucking Icicle Spear. Hitting like 5 times with that fucking stab move is nuts. It's nutty. It's a very naughty combination. It's really, really good. I might test it out on the channel as like maybe as like the first team building video. Perhaps. It's all shows. Oh yeah, Tatsugiri and Tatsugiri Dondozo. I talked about it briefly, but yeah, Tatsugiri Dondozo is back. If you don't know what they do, you're uncultured. Tatsugiri just goes inside Dondozo, gives Dondozo a boost. And I'd say arguably, I think even if this is a gimmick, I think this is going to be a really, really good combination. Paired up with like a lot of like some of like the stronger Pokemon in the meta, like right here, as you can see, like Goldango and fucking Whimsicott, which is really, really good. And Hisuian Arcanine, which we didn't talk about the Hisuian forms just yet, but we'll save that for a few more minutes. But yeah, Dondozo Tatsugiri is gonna perform pretty decently well. I don't see a world where they don't perform well. Honestly, I don't see a world where they don't. But hey, it is what it is. It's a gimmick. They're good, but that means prop to go for Haze. You're gonna have like Murkrow with Haze somehow, or like another Pokemon around with Haze. So realistically, you're not really gonna. I don't think you're gonna bother seeing them as much, but when you do, you will probably not be fully prepared, and you're gonna be like, "Oh shit, I'm getting fucked by Tatsugiri Dondozo lead." Like, what the fuck? Now I am jumping all over the place because I'm like super excited, like steamroll through some of these Pokemon, and just like talk about them very briefly. But Hisuian Arcanine. So Incineroar's around, yes, but you can still use another Intimidate Pokemon, aka Hisuian Arcanine. Hisuian Arcanine is really good. Intimidate. It's just a really good physical attacking Pokemon with rocks, having access to Rock Slide. Stab, very rare to see that. Rock Slide Stab is really, really rare. Flare Blitz, fucking E-Speed. It has access to Head Smash, which is really good, really great. Really good Pokemon. Terra Water. You maybe want to go for Terra Blast. Terra Water would be really good. And yeah, you're just chilling with this thing, man. It's fucking Suit Arcanine. He's really, really good. He's really, really strong. I love him. I generally do love him. I almost prefer Hisuian Arcanine over Incineroar, but the thing is that Incineroar provides a little more, like, playability options than Hisuian Arcanine, but, there's a world where I think the honored one is Hisuian Arcanine. That's my opinion. Of course. Duh. We're gonna get the return of fucking Hisuian Typhlosion being a little bit more a little bit more stronger than Torkoal as an eruption user, but that's kind of it. I don't even think I want to use this thing ever. That's it. We do have one other Hisuian Pokemon we could talk about here, and that is Hisuian Goodra. Hisuian Goodra gonna be similar to Archaludon, but I think Hisuian Goodra is gonna be more the body press build than Archaludon is, because Hisuian Goodra. Hisuian Goodra is not as defensive as Archaludon when it comes to its defensive step, but its special defense is extremely powerful. And with a meta full of special attacking Pokemon, it's really important to kind of have a really good counter towards that, and I think Hisuian Goodra does that pretty well. It has access to an amazing moving body press. Give this thing shelter, my bad. And like, you're chilling for most of the game. It has access to Sap Sipper and Shell Armor, but Sap Sipper is really good here because, like, Rillaboom exists. So, want a good counter for Rillaboom? Use Hisuian Goodra. If your opponent doesn't bring fucking Rillaboom, you're fucked. Anyways. Yeah, Gallade's gonna be here. Gallade, we're gonna see a lot of Gallade here, because Gallade has fucking Sharpness. Sharpness giving like a boost to any slicing move. So, Stab, Secret Sword, Psycho Cut, being crazy. Plus, it's a Wide Guard user. So, like, you know, it's gonna be really good. Even though we do have Pelipper as Wide Guard user and Garganacl. By the way, I'm just gonna say Garganacl is back. And probably gonna be even better than ever. I still think that if you want to run like a really solid, decent Wide Guard user that's a little more speedier, go for Gallade. If not, like, you know, you still have Garganacl. Garganacl's a little more defensive, and you have also Pelipper, so to each their own, I say. To each their own. Whatever playstyle, whatever it requires you to have on your team, go for whatever Pokemon you want to have. We didn't talk about Palafin as much, but the reason why I'm not talking about Palafin as much is because, like, again, we're gonna have Electroshot, Archaludon around, and I feel like Palafin is still gonna be like good, but it's not gonna be as strong as it once was back in Regulation A type of thing. Regulation A / Regulation B, where the Paradox Pokemon were like first appearing and all that stuff. So we might see it play very well, but we're probably gonna be seeing also counters for it very quickly. So we'll see. We'll see how Palafin goes. Maybe I misjudged the Finn. The hero might be better than I thought. But at least to me, like, again, it's not like it's a terrible Pokemon. Like, it has a base stat of a legendary. Like, it's crazy. It has access to fucking Jet Punch, which is a really amazing priority move. Like, Stab Wave Crash that does like fucking a lot of damage. Like a lot of damage. Yeah, it's still a very scary Pokemon, especially under the rain, but we have to be cautious, though, that Arcalon exists, and be cautious that there's gotta be some counterplay in some way, shape, or form against Palafin. So, unless Palafin users, we unite together and we make Palafin great again, then, yep. Oh yeah, and I think, like, finally, like, to wrap up the video, we're gonna not talk about, like, Pokemon like Glamora, for example, because Glamora's pretty decent, but we're gonna go for, like, final Pokemon, Blood Moon Ursaluna and regular Ursaluna. Both forms of Ursaluna are gonna be really, really good. I'd say especially Blood Moon, because Blood Moon has fucking Hyper Voice, stab normal move, crazy hits for ghost type Pokemon. Even though it's a normal type, because of Mind's Eye. He says, fuck you immunity. I have Scrappy now. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit the ghosts. Watch me. Watch me. It's fucking crazy. But yes, Blood Moon hits pretty darn hard. Same goes for regular Ursaluna. I think regular Ursaluna is kind of like an underdog, where it goes pretty well into Trick Room. Plus, fucking Flame Orb, Guts boosted Facade deals a lot of damage overall. But we need to be very, very careful with regular Ursaluna. But I think regular Ursaluna can do pretty fine. Like, again, we're seeing some Pokemon here that, you know, regular Ursaluna can deal pretty well with, like, for example, Arcalodon, if possible. Like, you Facade and afterwards go for Headlong Rush or something. Incineroar for sure. It goes well against Goldango. It goes well against fucking Annihilate. Like, it goes pretty decently well. Well, not super duper well against Annihilate, but solid, right? Not like terrible, but solid. But these two, like, again, these two are afraid of Annihilate, but also Annihilate needs to be afraid of these two as well, because, like, they hit pretty fucking hard anyways. So yeah, it kind of depends on the scenario. So Annihilate is kind of like in that little middle ground. But on that note, I do want to mention one more Pokemon before we end the video, and that is Primarina. I thought I was gonna end up with fucking the Ursalunas, but I totally forgot to talk about Primarina. Primarina is better Sylveon in some aspects, which also brings me to talk about Sylveon, because we're gonna be seeing a lot more Sylveons as well, with Pixelate for sure. Pixelate Hyper Voice, really good. Like, honestly, way better Fairy type move, having a Fairy type stab Hyper Voice for range damage than, honestly, Dazzling Gleam. Because, like, what Dazzling Gleam is 80, Hyper Voice is 90, yeah. So you have a way better Dazzling Gleam, plus it's stab, plus it has a monster special attack. So, like, yeah, you're hitting pretty hard with Sylveon. But with Primarina, take that special attack set, boost it a little more, and instead of making it a Fairy type move, make it a Water type move. 10 out of 10 right there. 10 out of 10. It is so good. It is crazy how good this is. Now, keep in mind, it's not... How can I put this? It's not like there's not going to be, like, any fire type Pokemon or anything like that. There's going to be a shit ton of fire type Pokemon, and a lot of Pokemon are going to be Terrasils for Terra Fire. Plus, again, regular Ursaluna and Blood Moon are around. Like, we have a lot to talk about here. And also, like, we have fucking King Gambit that completely counters it. Which, again, King Gambit is back. King Gambit's always been good. At least in my eyes, I always like King Gambit. But King Gambit's gonna be even better now, because the legendaries. Anyways, I'm sidetracking a lot in this video. I did not script this, by the way. I just wanted to look at the list and be like, yeah, I want to talk about this Pokemon and all that stuff. Real quick. But yeah. So, Primarina, Liquid Voice, fucking Hyper Voice will KO a lot of Pokemon. quite frankly, it's a little scary. And honestly, I don't know if people are ready for Primarina dominating at least some metagames, for sure. Like, already Primarina reached top 3 in a online tournament. I don't know how it's going to perform in an actual regional event. But honestly, like, Primarina's really, really good on its own, like, typing-wise, that I wouldn't even be surprised if it reaches, like, in the top 5s, kind of like right here, in, like, the first ever regional event, which would be really, really nice to see that happen. But on that note, again, I did not cover every single Pokemon. Like, we could cover Snorlax, Sinistcha, Mimikyu. We could have covered maybe a little more Ninetales. We could have covered more Meowscarada. We could have covered a lot of these Pokemon, but I'll probably cover them in, like, their separate videos in, like, a separated team that I will build myself, just for funsies, because, hey, we're gonna be playing Regulation H, and I'm gonna be doing tournaments in Regulation H. I have to make some teams and practice. So, on that note, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, smash that like button. Don't forget, drugs are bad for you. Go and pray. Make sure hot little smooch moi. I know I talked a lot in this video. I yapped a lot. I was speedrun yapping this one, okay? But trust me, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be seeing some crazy good content for Regulation H, and I cannot wait to test out the majority of these Pokemon. At least a good majority of these Pokemon. I'm just so excited. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye, guys.